pencil in, I guess, right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole
Yeah.
one.
This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America.
All right, good evening to everyone out there on the internet or listening on shortwave. My name's Tom, W5KUB, and this is Amateur Radio Roundtable every Tuesday night at this time. Today is April the 7th, 2010. Started to say March. I'm really bad about getting my months mixed up here. When you're retired, you kind of do that. Plus, when you're quarantined in your house for a few weeks, you kind of do the same thing. Anyway, hey, we're on shortwave tonight on 5130 kilohertz from Monticello, Maine. I just tuned it in a few minutes ago. I'm hearing it pretty good here in Memphis tonight on 5130. So if you're out there listening, shoot us an email to tom@w5kub.com and tell us where you are and how you're hearing the program tonight. And again, if you're listening, this is a ham radio program, amateur radio, and if you're interested, we'd love for you to join us. If you do have internet capability where you are right now, you can join the show and watch the video and join in the chat room just by going to w5kub.com. And that's W5 Kilo Uniform Bravo.com. All right, let's see what else is going on here. I just wonder, hey, tonight's going to be a very relaxed show. Bill Brown is with me. We're going to talk a little about what's been going on with some of these balloon launches. I've got some funny things to show you here, some neat videos. Excuse me. I'm trying to get over the sinus problem, and we've been having a lot of painting done. So if you see me do this, that's because I'm trying to keep my cough from reaching you guys. Don't want you to get sick. All right, so a couple announcements. Want to know, is there anybody new in the chat room tonight? We had a great net tonight. We had about 40 people check in the net tonight on 7180. That's every Tuesday, so just wonder if there's any new people in the chat room. Say hello if you are. Would like to hear from you. And if you're not a member of our Facebook group, please join our Facebook group. It's called W5KUB, or it's called Amateur Radio Roundtable. Just whatever you want to put in here. You search for it, you'll find it. So please join it. I'd love to have you. Let's see, a couple things. Riley was going to be on. Riley Hollingsworth, retired special counsel from the FCC, was going to be here, but he can't make it. But Riley gave me the report, and I'm going to read this to you. He gave me a little one paragraph on how things are going with the volunteer monitoring service. Here's what Riley said. Just to go ahead and report this to our viewers. The volunteer monitoring program is up and running. We had a soft rollout February 1st and a full rollout March the 1st, so they're just getting this thing going. We have about 20 cases, but about 10 have been resolved, so half the cases have been resolved. We don't anticipate having to go to the FCC with anything right now. And at the FCC's request, we are looking at several situations and gathering evidence. So that's the volunteer monitoring program. It's starting to get kicked off and do a few things. So, hey, lots going on here. I'm gonna I'm going to bring Bill Brown in here with us. Let's see if I can do a split screen with Bill. Bill, how you doing?
Hey, doing good.
Okay, well, we got a split screen, but your head is as big as my body. Let me fix that. Don't go away. I can fix that. All I got to do is click a couple buttons here, I think, and I can fix you. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it. Watch this. Boy, I'm going to do some magic here. I bet you. Slide that slider that way, that one that way. I'm going to slide that slider up. Boy, I can't do it. Okay, well, here's what I came up with. Here's what I came up with here. That looks a little better. At least our heads are about to, you're not, I'm not the big head tonight, or you're not the big head tonight, man.
There you go.
So how you doing down there? Are you surviving down there on the mountain with all this quarantine stuff going on? Stay at home. You doing okay?
Oh yeah, I have a very tough commute to work. I get up, put on a bathrobe, come out, and log on to the internet on my kitchen table. So it's a really tough commute.
Yep.
Nowadays.
Well, there's
I
nothing.
don't mind it at all. We've been using various teleconferencing software, and we're getting a lot done, and everybody's working out of their houses, and that seems to be working well.
Yeah, well, even when I worked in my other job, I let my people work 2 or 3 days a week at home, and we did just fine working from home. So the way everything's dependent on the internet now, and pretty much you can just about do it all here. I mean, man, we could forward our company IP phones to our home, the network to the home. I mean, it's just like you're in the office. So things have changed a whole lot.
Oh, yeah, we hold meetings, and it's very high quality. We watch presentations, and we can chime in. It works great. We're using Microsoft Teams, but we did a Zoom call to a bunch of my fellow balloonatics around Kansas City and Kentucky. We had a Swedish balloon come through, and it's on its second lap around the world. And the unusual thing about it's in addition to APRS, it was also sending teletype on 144.600 upper sideband. So we all were trying to track it, and we were using Zoom to connect with each other. And the Zoom conferencing software seemed to work pretty well for that. Mm-hmm. Even with my low-speed internet. And we have a group that's on amateur television doing digital TV and DXing with ATV, and we use Zoom in the mornings to talk to each other to coordinate and arrange who's going to transmit when. So it really is pretty handy stuff, and it's now coming of age now that it's becoming required by everybody, so it's really taking off. Plus, my blood pressure has gone down, not having to negotiate bad rush hour traffic.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I wanted to be on that call. I just had so much going on. I was not able to make it, and I'm glad we're together here tonight, and probably have a lot more questions than we can get answers to tonight, but I know you guys talked about the home making of the new balloon. I want to talk a little about that because I'm very interested in that, and trying to construct our own balloon. I think it would be pretty easy actually, because I've got the irons, and I've practiced with different materials, and I can weld balloons together. So
we during our Zoom conference call, as that it's SA6BSS was the call sign. -10. He's got several flying around the world. Some on Whisper and some on APRS and teletype. And he was on with us. I found him on the UK High Altitude Society there, and he joined our Zoom call, and he stayed with us for several hours during the
Uh-huh.
time that his balloon was passing nearby, and we were copying it here. So we were able to copy it from 200 miles away on just 20 milliwatts,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the balloon that he made. He makes it out of the same material that the balloons that we've been flying, those round
Yeah.
36-inch diameter balloons.
So
It's
this
made
is
out of a metallized foil.
yeah, this is a very similar design to the high dollar SBS 13 balloon. Is it about the same size, I guess?
It's a little smaller, and it weighs. I think it probably is a little heavier
Yeah.
because that metallized foil plastic. It's like 5 layers. It's layers of plastic
Why did
and
he go? Why did he go
EVOH
smaller?
and
See,
metallized mylar.
if I make one, I want to go larger than the SBS. Why didn't he make it a little larger? Was he limited on his material or something?
Probably because of the length of material he had, and probably the length of his kitchen table. He wanted
Yeah.
room to put his iron on it. He said he used the wool setting. He wrote
Yeah.
170 degrees, I think, is what that might be.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
what.
here's a
But it-
picture. Here's a picture of the balloon. I guess that's air. I guess he has in it testing it, but he's got
Yeah.
a nice seam around it. It looks like.
And did you see a picture of his payload?
Uh, well, I did. It's very similar to Edwards' payload, I think, the Y03 ICT, isn't it, or not?
Yeah,
It's very similar to that one, right?
it's a little different, but about the same size. It's
About the
3.5
same.
grams.
Yeah. So it
So
would
far.
look. Let's see. I don't know if I have a picture. Well, there's Edwards. That's Edwards half size. The other one was bigger.
Yeah.
Well,
Mike,
probably about
A6BSS
it's
looked
very similar to this one that I built right here.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
very nice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So, and that's the small tracker. Again, he's not running a super cap or anything on it. And to me, I worry a little bit, not worry, but I like to see reports a lot more during the day. And I'm just concerned without the super tracker, the super cap,
Right.
that if that thing tilts and there's no voltage regulation, if it tilts just for 1 second, doesn't that have to reset the processor? I know if it goes below 1.8 volts on the one I was running there, it does a reset.
Actually, yours, I think, resets around 2.8 volts.
Okay.
The one that SA6BSS sent around the world and went past us on the other day, it did not have a super cap and no voltage regulator, and it was it was resetting quite a bit.
And see,
In fact,
yeah,
the teletype drifted quite a bit. It was a real challenge to decode it, but I put the AFC on the teletype decoding program. I use FLDigi, which
Yeah.
is written by W1HKJ, and that does teletype and all kinds of different modes. And they make a special add-on to FLDigi called DL, Delta Lima,
mm-hmm.
FLDigi, and it's designed for high-altitude balloon telemetry that actually will transmit, once it successfully decodes a telemetry string, it will send it to the tracker.habhub.org website and automatically. So
Yeah.
we were having a good time doing that the other day as that balloon flew past.
Well, the last one we sent up, I think that super tracker really, I don't know why I keep calling it super tracker. We had super trackers at work, to scan packages at FedEx. The super capacitor seemed to really extend the amount of time that the thing would report. I was seeing something like 10 hours a day, just almost solid, reporting. Whereas, you know, I had been used to kind of like 4 or 5 hours a day. I know the sun's getting higher now, but it seemed
Yeah,
to
that'll
have
depend on
helped
the
a
time
lot.
of year, of course.
Yeah, it seemed,
But yeah, the super cap really helps with that. And if there's a
and you know,
quick or temporary drop
and, and if you really want
out,
to, if you really want to be
will
successful, you got to be light, just like your presentation says. You got to make it as light as possible and even lighter. But I took this little, you know, this is the one I built here. No, not that one. I didn't build that one. Let's see. Boy, I got so many here. Let me find it. There we go. The one on the right there, the little one. That's the ICT. That's Edwards tracker he built. That tracker actually weighs about 1.5 grams. But I wanted better voltage. I wanted longer time, so we hung about a 4-gram super capacitor on there, and that really messes up the lightweight. You know, now we're up to, you know, 1.5 and 4 and something, and it would just you know, by the time we finished with that little 1.5 gram tracker, we were up to about 15 grams with all the add-ons that I put on there. So anyway, I know if you want to go high, you need a bigger balloon, you need a lighter payload. Now let me show you what Edward's doing here. This guy has got to be a genius, and he's got to have the best eyes in the world. Let's see if I've got his. Okay, all right, you guys, you see what a penny weighs. Okay, 2.5 grams, that's a penny. Here's Edward's new tracker. Here's his new tracker with solar panels, with 6 solar panels on it. It comes out at 3.45 grams. Now that doesn't include the wire there that's on the spools. That's the antenna. That adds, he says that adds about another I think 0.9 grams to the flight. So his entire flight would be just a little over 4 grams, which is really outstanding. Here's another picture. I don't know how he gets the solar cells so straight. I usually break about 3 of them after I get 5 on there. And mine never looked that straight. But and he's launching a balloon tomorrow, ICT-4. You'll be able to track, you know, HAB hub if you just key in ICT-4. But his previous one, one of his previous one, went around the world. Let's see, I'm not sure who. Oh, that's the SA-6. His other one went around the world 7.5 times. This same model here basically went around the world 7.5 times. Actually flying the larger board, flying this board right here, which weighed in at, that was his larger board there. His larger board at 3.97, and then he's halved that board. Let me show you what he's done. Here's the board. I built the one on the right, but he has now shrunk it down to half the size, where he breaks off the little programming stub there. So the tracker actually went from about 3.9 grams down to about 3.45. I don't know. I'm seeing maybe a half a gram there. I don't know. Maybe that's all you can get. Because you got the same parts basically on there. He has taken off part of the board though. So you know, so let's talk a little about some of the flights. I mean, we are very persistent on going around the world, and people are probably laughing at us because we're not going to quit, man. We're going to keep going until we make it around the world. Unless we run out of money, of course. Now, this hobby can get kind of expensive. It's worse than, I don't know, bass fishing, I guess. I don't have a boat or anything like that. So we made a number of flights, and if you go to w5kub.com and click on the balloon up there, you'll see some of the previous flights. Flight 15, we launched it about a week and a half ago with a very expensive SBS balloon, $180 balloon. We thought, this is it, man. We're going all out. We're going to go around the world. We got the best balloon we think right now. We're going around the world. And we kind of launched it in bad weather. It didn't look that bad, but it started rolling in here. And by the time we launched, it went into some clouds.
It did transmit once.
And thank you, Bill, for finding that, because I didn't even know it. Well, let's see. Wait a minute. Man, I'm getting so confused on my balloons. That one did transmit once. I don't think I saw that. So anyway, it went about 10 miles from here and went down. And it was found down in Mississippi. And Bill had given us a grid square of where he thought it was. And
because it actually transmitted the day after it landed.
Yeah. So
it was heard in Wisconsin by K9 AMG, and it was heard in Texas by K5XL.
So I was looking for it. You guys have seen the grid square. I don't guess I have the picture in front of me, but we knew about where it was. Of course, the grid square was 2 miles by 3. We went in and searched all afternoon, and we couldn't find it. But Bill got an email that night saying, I found your weather balloon. What do you want me to do with it? So I finally contacted the guy after about 5 days of not hearing from him. I thought maybe he's holding our balloon hostage. And he may be watching tonight. I told him he's going to be on TV tonight, so he may be here. And his name is Matt. Matt, if you're watching, I'm going to show a video of you and me meeting and me getting the tracker back. So let me play that video real quick. Now, this is down in Mississippi, kind of, out in the country, kind of like Deliverance, area. You got to be careful down there, I drove up, and the first thing I asked is, you got any bad dogs out here? And he did say, yeah, he said, that one right there is bad, but that one wasn't about this tall, so I wasn't too worried. So I've got a video of him, and I want you to look at this. Let me play it. Here we go.
Here we are. We're down. Is this Bahia or
Yeah,
Bahia, Mississippi?
Yeah.
Or kind of out in the country, I guess, out a little bit. And hey, I'm with Matt Brink here, man, down kind of south of Bahia. And looky what he found, man. He recovered our tracker. It didn't make it around the world. It only made it about 10 miles, man. But we're going to keep trying here. Well, what do you think when you found it, Matt?
Well, I thought for sure it was a weather balloon, and I, had to pick it up. It was just out in the middle of the pasture. And I went over there to go pull a buddy out from fishing, and he got stuck, and we were headed to Jackson, and I saw it on my way out, and I was like, man, I know what that is.
Yeah.
So we found the website on there and emailed
Bill,
him.
I turned the audio
It took
down
a few days,
because of
but
echo.
we made connection with him, and
Yeah.
now we
Can you
now
hear me,
we're
Bill?
gonna learn some more about it.
All right, and
Yeah.
you originally thought it was a weather
I was
balloon,
trying
but
to feed
I've
the audio
explained to
back
you
to
what
it,
it
just
is
say
now.
it
It's just
got
a
an echo.
hobby,
When I
and
do
we're
that, they
trying to
get an
get it
echo.
around the world.
You can see this on our
We're going to
Facebook
keep
page.
going till we make
I
it.
turned the audio back
Well,
down to
hey,
you.
this is really cool, man, and you're going to
Okay.
tune in the show and see yourself on here Tuesday
Yeah.
night, right? Just tune into that.
Yeah,
place.
we had
You know,
two
I tried
reception
to
reports
email
from
you,
it
but you were in a spot
from,
where I guess you couldn't get email last few
on
days.
the day
I thought,
after the
what's going
flight.
on?
And
You
the
said,
day,
what
2
do
days
you want
after
us to
flight,
do
there
with
was
it? Man, we
nothing,
couldn't get
and
back
that's
in
when
touch with
Matt
you.
actually had recovered it
Yeah, I was
from
in
the
a place
pasture.
bad signal.
That's
Yeah.
why we didn't hear
So
it.
you got the maps
So-
here, and we were in the grid square.
But that's the beauty of 20-meter whisper. It can be heard 1,000 miles in either direction, lying flat on the ground.
And that's what worries me about
Matt
this
has
thing.
marked
We're
on the
not
map
picking
where it
one
was.
that's right up there right
It was
now.
in the,
Even if the
eastern-
band's
about the
closed, I
eastern
would have thought
one-third
we'd
of
have heard it
the
somewhere.
grid square there. So let me put it there.
There's
Well,
the
we're
grid.
hearing
There's
it
the grid
every
square.
few hours.
There's the grid map.
Okay.
he's
Yeah.
showing
Very
you.
good. And hey Matt, for your trouble, man, I got a reward for you. Okay.
All right, I love
I got a reward for you,
Oh,
man.
so he found it on the other side of the
we're
grid
just,
square.
we're
Yeah,
just
it
so
was
happy
opposite side.
to find this
Yeah, it
and
was
look at
opposite
the
side.
damage and see
This will be over in just a minute.
what kind of damage it was done. That was an expensive balloon. They're
would
good
have
for about
been
one
fun,
flight. If you
just
touch it wrong,
searching
they go
around in
bad,
that
man.
area.
Yeah, and
Well,
it's
he would have had to pull you out if
definitely
you'd been
messed up
driving
now.
back in there.
But here,
in the
man,
mud.
hey, I got a
maybe
$20 bill here, man.
hey.
That'll buy you a case of something. I don't
Hey,
know what.
man,
I don't know
thanks.
what it'll get you, man.
Bacon and beans.
It bacon and beans, man.
Yeah.
Well, look, hey,
Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, man. And I'm gonna try to get back to 6 foot here. All right. I'm sorry,
Oh, yeah,
we got a little close there, but
Yeah.
very
So
good. Thank you.
That's pretty
Thank
neat.
you
He
so much, man.
recognized
Hey,
that
well, I
it was a
appreciate
weather
it. Y'all have
balloon.
fun and good luck on your.
Well, he'd already. He said this is the
experiment.
second one I
All right.
found.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, is my mic coming over that? Oh. Okay. You know what? We've been talking over the video the whole time. I didn't know that. Sorry, folks. Sorry, man. Let me get back. I had the video queued up on the wrong thing there. So anyway, I guess everybody was hearing us, Bill, as the video was running. So I'm glad we didn't say anything bad about the guys on there, you know. All right. All right, so that was the video, basically, of the guy finding it down there. We got it, and we brought it back. You saw it looked in pretty good shape. It actually didn't seem anything wrong with it other than one of the solar panels was bent just a little bit. So I've got a picture, let's see. So we brought it back, but when we lost it a couple of days later, we're trying to keep this thing going. So after it went down, we went ahead and launched another one. And we launched number 16. And it made it. Number 16 was two of the silver balloons. And we made it past the Azores to the coast of Africa. It seems like we've lost several balloons in that area, so I don't know what's going on over there. Maybe they see it coming into Africa and they start shooting at it. I don't know. But
it's tough getting across the Atlantic. There's always storms in the Atlantic.
Yeah, a lot of storms.
Hey, that was a YO3 ICT tracker on that one that you had put the voltage regulator and the super cap on.
That was, and that one had the super cap on it, yeah. And, you know, and what I've learned in watching people, I mean, there's some balloon, you know, and the reason we went with the SBS is because we feel like it has a better chance, not necessarily the best, but maybe a better chance of staying up for 2 months or 3 months, because there's some people up there right now. I have a friend, Mel, his has been up for 250 days. It's been flying for 250 days with the SBS balloon, and I think probably the QRP tracker, which is not light. And what's happened, it's got stuck up in the Arctic area in the dark, and about every month it pops its head out and it'll transmit for a few days, and then it goes back in the dark over the Arctic, in the Arctic Circle. So that balloon has been up there about 230 days now. So, you know, we were trying our best to go with the SBS balloon so we can carry more gas, we can go higher and so forth. But Bill, we've had just about as good a luck. You know, the first balloon you launched for us was a single silver balloon, and we made it all the way to Japan with that one, if you remember.
Yes. And that one that you flew, the W5KUB-16, a few days ago, that one with the voltage regulator and the super cap on the ICT tracker, I looked at of course it went almost directly over my house and it was very strong,
Mm-hmm.
but I looked at the Whisper waterfall display and it was super stable. It was very, very stable, didn't drift hardly at all. So
Now, I took off, Bill,
that really made a difference
Well,
putting the regulator on it and the super cap.
Yeah, I took the voltage regulator off. You know, I was wanting to run one panel, one 4.8 volt panel with a regulator and a super cap. For some reason, it just would not transmit. It could be a current issue. The voltage was there, but it just would not transmit outside. When I'd plug it into the USB, it would transmit. So I went back to the little glass 6 glass solar cells like Edward puts on his, and it started transmitting. It would work outside. So I think it was a current issue. You know, my
the 4.8 volt panel by itself does not have enough current capacity by itself. Yeah, that's why I have two of those panels on mine.
Well, and that's what I thought too. So, but I did not have a regulator on that when we flew to Africa. I took the regulator off because I went back with his six solar panels that put out 3 volts. But I did put the super cap. I did put the super cap on there, and that seemed to help it a lot as far as what I'm concerned.
That definitely made it pretty stable with the super cap on it.
Yeah. So let's see, man. I've got so many balloons going here right now. I am getting confused on which ones went where. I've got a little video of our launch.
5 KUB-15 that Matt recovered south of you in the mud and the woods there in the pasture. You dusted it off, put a new antenna on it, and you flew a little different balloon configuration this time, and you relaunched it yesterday, right?
That's correct, and it was doing really good yesterday. I did test it for a couple of days before we flew it, but you know what we experienced today, when I woke up this morning, I went to see if the tracker is flying, and man, at 7:15, it came right on. It told us where it was. It was kind of southeast of Bermuda. It's great, man, we're still flying. And then no more reports after that. We should get them every 10 minutes. No reports. Usually that means it's gone down. And for 4 hours, no report. But then about noontime, it started reporting again. So, man, that was a relief. We knew we were still in the air at 29,000 and something feet. But then after just a few transmissions, it stopped again. Well, after about an hour, it transmitted a couple more times. Then it went out again. So something is intermittent right now. With this being the recovered tracker, like you say, we could the super cap could have got water or damaged. It may be a solar panel issue. And you even mentioned today it could be propagation, that sometimes 20 meters is just dead. But I'm thinking with the whisper mode, somebody should have heard it. But I'm hoping it's that. It could be. There's some storms in the area.
It's beyond single hop.
Yeah, the GPS lock.
Propagation.
And you know, there are, I looked at the clouds. I looked at the clouds on one of the websites, and there are some very high clouds in that area. It may be blocking the solar panel. It could be, you know, blocking the solar panel. And I've noticed even here testing outside, if it just gets a little cloudy, you know, not totally, but if the sun's blocked a little bit, it just doesn't have enough power to transmit. So I'm hoping that tomorrow.
That could have been because there were some clouds, high clouds in the area, and that might have been it right there too. So we'll see what it does tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow. And it's, you know, if you look at the website, it's traveling about 100 miles per hour. At that altitude, and we know right where it is and where it was traveling, and so we know the speed of the wind there. So we're moving at about 100 miles an hour. I've got a little video here of the launch. I'll show you the video of the launch. And Bill, we can't talk during this video because of the way I have it queued up. Let me find it here. I need a better system. First of all, that's the recovered tracker that we launched yesterday. That's Bill's super Scott tracker, right? That's Bill's Scott tracker. And I actually had enclosed that one in a custom-made plastic covering just to keep water off, and it might have been good. That will add about 3/4 of a gram to the payload. All right, let's see. I think this is it here, maybe. Let's see what this is. We launched a test balloon before we launched. Let's see if this is it.
All All right, we're going to do a test launch. This is the second launch of W5KUB-15. We recovered it about 10 miles from here. Pink balloon's a test balloon. I'm going to let the test balloon go. Here we go. Test balloon.
Doing good going north.
Doing pretty good. It's going pretty straight up, pretty much.
Going north. All right. So much for that.
Looks like we are heading kind of northeast from our launch point here in Carterville. Pretty slow altitude increase.
Okay, so that was our launch. You saw it went pretty smooth there. Hey, I see Dave. Dave Kassler's in the room. Dave, I sent you an email tonight. Dave, if you'd like to join us on video, just dial in on Skype and I'll be glad to add you into the show tonight. I didn't know if you were going to be here or not, but wanted to make sure that you know that the offer is always there for you to be on the show. We love to have you. So you saw the launch. It went pretty good. Went just about straight up. I think we had great weather for the launch. All right. We don't know if Dave will call or not, but let's see. So that was kind of what was going on with it. We'll know tomorrow how that was doing.
They asked whether you used helium or hydrogen in this particular flight.
Yeah, we use hydrogen. We're not big hydrogen users like Bill. I think he's got like a 10-foot tank he uses. We're small. But we use enough that we've had that tank refilled. I don't know how much that tank holds. Bill, what do you think that holds? How many cubic feet?
That's about a 40 or 60 cubic foot right there.
Yeah, it didn't fill up about 4 balloons, let me tell you.
That's about, well, the SBS balloons take a lot more than the party balloons do.
Yeah.
But that's about a 40 cubic foot from the looks of it. I have one just like it in my barn.
Yeah. So, Bill, people are asking me, hey, I want to do this. How can I do it? There's a simple way and a hard way, and I've tried both. You can get you a party balloon, and there's so many various aspects of this. You can get you a $4 party balloon. You can get some helium, and you can actually go out and buy a tracker, anywhere from $130 to $180 maybe. And it's pretty turnkey. You just fill it up, let it go, and it'll go. But what you got to realize is, I think the party balloons, they're only going to last you probably a few weeks. I mean, some don't last but a couple of days up there before they come down. Some may make it a few weeks. And then there are some people that have luck, and they will fly a party balloon all the way around the world, maybe 2 times or 3 times before it comes down. It's Mother Nature. It's Mother Nature and it's luck and some skill in putting this together. Or you can build your own tracker, like the little 1.5 gram that I built based on Edward's plans. And people say, well, send me the plans, I want to build it. But I want to tell you, it's not as easy to build as one person might think. And you're going to have to buy special equipment. You're going to have to get you some type monitor where you can magnify and work. The tracker, Edward's tracker, is so small that I had to use a microscope to build it. And so I built it under this, and this is still not good enough to see if the soldering is good. So then I have to go to this. I have to go to this lab microscope to inspect every solder. This one here does not give me enough detail to know if it's even, you would think that would be good enough, but it is not. Then you're going to have to buy some special tweezers and stuff like that. You can't use your regular long nose pliers. You got to get the, I don't know what they call those, ESD or something, whatever they are. And then depending on how you want to fill this thing up, you can go to Walmart. You can buy some helium, but this helium is not pure. It's I think it's 80% helium and 20% lead. What do you think, Bill? I mean,
20% air, anyways.
Yeah, it's not pure, and lead.
It
the
used
helium.
to be 2 years ago, it was 98 to 99% pure, and then they came out. The marketing people there came up with a beautiful tagline: "Special eco-friendly blend."
Yeah. Well,
and they mixed in 20% air. And it said it won't affect your performance at all. Well, sure it does.
Yeah. So there's your tank. You can buy that at Walmart, probably $40, $50. I don't know what it is now. It goes up. And helium is a rare element on Earth. And I think the government sets the price for helium like every week, if I'm not mistaken. But you can get some helium. But helium flies, 1,000 or 2,000 feet lower than hydrogen. So all of our flights have been hydrogen. Okay, but if you want to do hydrogen, you got to have a tank. A tank costs you $100, and guess what? You got to buy gauges. You can't just use any gauge. So you got to buy some gauges to put on there. So now you're talking a few hundred more bucks. And of course the gas in there. The gas actually. What was that, Bill?
The tank I get from a local mom and pop welding shop, because a lot of the big gas companies won't sell hydrogen to individuals. But if you go into a welding supply shop, the more out in the country, the better. And you say, hey, I want a small little 40 cubic foot tank of hydrogen, or even helium. I think mine cost $35 for the tank filled with hydrogen. And it's $10 a month rental if you keep the tank longer than a month.
Well,
and it's lightweight. I mean, it's easily carried by one person. Now, the regulator, on the other hand, I think I paid about $75 for mine, but they range between $50 and $70 for the regulator.
Yeah. Well, we're not having any trouble getting the hydrogen here at the welding place, and so we're using the hydrogen to get more lift, but of course it does bring more danger to it. As I said on Facebook yesterday, we noticed something different about this launch, Bill. All the other launches, everything seemed just normal, but yesterday when we were filling that balloon up in my shop, we noticed a lot of static electricity. Every time we'd get near that balloon, the hair on our arms would stand straight up, and even our hair on our head would start standing up, man. And we were starting to get real worried about that,
Always good to have a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, and I do.
And that's because we use plastic balloons, and they do. They do become staticky if the humidity's low.
Yeah, so here's
usually the humidity's not low around these parts.
Here's the balloon that we launched. Well, yesterday we launched 2 of these together, and here's learning experience. Everything is measured to the ground, and Bill, we had the weight and the free lift in each balloon just perfect, and I heat sealed them. But then I didn't think about it. We had to put them together, and we used tape to put them together, and where the string attaches, we even put tape around that to make sure it didn't come loose. So we probably put 1 gram or 1.5 grams of tape on that sucker, and that's what brought our free lift down.
Yeah, I always calculate in about how much tape I'm going to use and weigh the tape. Was that particular balloon, did that also have a tab on the top of the balloon?
It does. Okay. I don't know if I have a, let's see.
Makes it easier to...
That's not it. Wait, that's not it. I'm trying to find a picture of it for you. Yeah, it's got a little tab on the top, just like the filler spout.
Right.
And so we put them together and taped them together really good. So let me say this, guys.
flying
Right,
really well.
guys. Let me just make an announcement here. There's been a lot of people very interested in following the balloons. They're getting really excited about this. And if you want to, you can. If you don't want to, don't worry about it. But probably this year we put tons of money into getting gas tanks and regulators and balloons. I think we've flown either 2 or 3 of the SBS 13s. And they're about $180 a piece. So right now we're flying the smaller balloons, which give you kind of medium results, but we're still planning on an SBS launch here soon, or a big balloon like it. So if anybody wants to join the team and wants to donate $5, $10, $20, hit the donate button at the top of my page there where it says donate, and drop a little in there. And what we'll do on the website, on our balloon website where we do the tracking, we'll put your names out there as sponsors of the balloon. So that's just to see if we can get enough money up to buy another SBS balloon, and because it's going to fly higher, it's going to fly a lot higher, and hopefully the SBS, Bill, an SBS should fly up around what, 41 to 43,000 feet with maybe hydrogen, right?
Right about that.
Yeah, I
and,
think the last one we flew, let's see, one of them, I keep getting confused, but I think the last one we flew, it was right at 41,000 before it went down. So that's going to be our best chance to get around the world, either 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times, or like my friend, it might stay up 200 and something days. So if you want to be part of the flight team, we'll put a little note after your flight team, and we'll put your name below it if you want to donate. And if I can get enough money to buy another SBS balloon, the $180 balloon, we'll fly that real soon as this next one comes down. And we don't know if this is going to come down tomorrow or if it's already come down, but we hope it shows up tomorrow. We want to keep it going. If it comes down, we want to get another one up. We want to keep going till we make it around the world. So if you guys want to help find, we've been doing okay, funding it ourselves, but we don't want to buy a $180 balloon every month. That could get expensive. And you never know. I mean, it could go down in 1 hour. I know, Bill, you just launched an SBS for the a group, Athens Radio Group, right down in Alabama here a few weeks ago. And I think you launched in the afternoon. It reported an hour or so before it got dark. I don't even know if it got out of the state, and they never heard from it again. That's just
that's sometimes you have wild success and sometimes you don't.
Right. And even with the party balloon, you can have wild success with the party balloon. Like I said, the party balloon, it'll definitely. It
all
can.
depends on whether you miss the storms or not, how lucky you are.
Yeah. So let's. I've got a little video here, Bill, and we'll talk about it in a minute. This is on Ventusky. I use it, and it's showing a kind of. I'm looking at where our balloon was when it was stopped communicating. So I don't know what some of these things do. I'm gonna play this, and let's just look at this for a second.
I use Windy
Okay,
TV.
so
Yeah,
don't
stand
know
by-
really
stand
what's
by,
going
Bill.
on. We're flying
stand by a
a
second.
tracker that was recovered. It could have some power issues. The solar panels could have been damaged. The supercapacitor may have gotten wet. We're reflying it. I did test it for 2 days before the launch. It appeared to be okay. Right now, we are in this area here. Let me put my cursor. You can see my cursor. We're right above Guyana here, right above Guyana, and about level with Florida. You can see my cursor here, and there's something going on right here in this area. You can see the red, the green, the yellow. So I'm not sure. That is called Helicity, SRH. And what that is something to do with potential for cyclonic updraft rotation So that has something to do with updrafts and rotation there. Let's see what else we see on this. We can select at this altitude. Let's select, I don't know, let's just select Cape and see what happens here. Nothing happened. Let me click Cape again. Here we go. There we go. Going to Cape, whatever that is, it shows a little something going on out here. Don't know what's happening here. Let's see, wind pressure, wind speeds. Wind speeds at our altitude is going to be, all right, right here. We're located right in this area here. So wind speeds at our altitude are about 100 miles per hour. Let's see if I can select something else. Wind gust. Don't know. Wind gust. I'm not sure what speed or what altitude we're at here. Okay. We'll go back to wind speed. So anyway, let's see. Let's look at radar. I'm going to look at radar out there and see what's going on. Okay, I don't see anything on radar in this area right here. Nothing on radar. Clouds. Let's check clouds out. I don't see anything, any clouds. Well, yeah, there are a lot of clouds. And again, we're in this area right here where you see my mouse right now. So that's where we are. So we don't know exactly what's going on out there, but hopefully we can make it through this.
All right, so Bill, you saw kind of some of the weather. I don't understand it all, but that high city, whatever, means something about cyclone updrafts. I don't know, man.
Well, I can tell you that the balloon is flying very stably. It's right at 30,000 feet, just a little bit slightly below it. It's really doing a great job as far as that goes. So your two clear balloons are working great. But it's very likely that it has encountered some cloud cover, not enough to knock the balloon down, but enough to diminish the solar panels. So there may be a high cirrus layer, a little higher than the balloon, that's blocking the sunshine. And that could very well explain what's going on today. So it'll be interesting to see what it does tomorrow, because it was working really well yesterday. So and there weren't any clouds at that point. So like I say, the weather in the Atlantic can be pretty rough.
Well, you know, a lot of people are starting to get very involved in following this and learning, just like, you know, I've been learning from you and others for over a year now, a year or two. And they have a lot of questions, a lot of legitimate questions, you know. One person suggested that altitude might solve some problems. He had a couple suggestions. One was altitude. Yes, altitude will definitely help. If we can get up in the 40,000s, that's going to help a whole lot. His other suggestion was look at long-term weather and avoid these storms out in the Atlantic. Now, I think you told me they're popping up every day. I don't know how we're going to know where they are. I don't even know where the balloon's going.
You're actually flying the best route to avoid the really bad storms this time of year. The southern route that you're taking is actually the best path, but I usually do look out a couple of days, and that's a good point. There's a program called High Split, and in fact, if you bring up your website, the HabHub site, and you click on the High Split button, you'll see the track that it makes. But if you actually run the High Split prediction program, it'll tell you the likelihood of encountering precipitation.
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
A real big spike of rain, then you're in trouble. So I try and look in several days in advance using the high split mode to make sure that my path is going to be clear for a few days whenever I launch, if I can.
Yeah. All right, so I'll bring that page up. And for anybody new that hadn't followed it, if you'll just go to W5KB, I've tried to make tracking simple because there are about 3 places that are really important for me for tracking. And one is if you go to if you go to w5kub.com and click on the word balloon up here at the top, that takes you to the balloon page, and we will try to build it up. We'll try to build it. And that is the wrong balloon page. I don't know why that comes up on this old computer here. I think it must have something cached. Here's the page right here that it comes up. And what we'll do, let me, and I'll bring up what you're talking about, Bill. Okay, here we go. If you come up to this page right here, you'll see a countdown. We launched 1 day ago, 11 hours ago. If you scroll down, you'll see different flights that we've made. This was flight 16, and some pictures. That was flight 15 right there with the SBS balloon. We're filling it up there and weighing the weight. Various pictures of different balloons we've used on different flights. There's the little tracker, the little bitty one that we built that based on Edwards. We got a video of one of the launches. So there's several things. There's the QRP Labs tracker. We've flown that a few times. Hey, here's the Polish team that recovered our flight that went to Poland. They're going to relaunch it at some point. Hey, there's a picture of Bill. Here's a picture of Bill showing us how to launch one. And there's a tombstone for W5KB-1. It crashed in the terrible storm off the coast of Japan. But if we go back up the top, what I'm doing, I'm giving us 3 options to track. And by the way, if you want to donate, we'll put a little thing up here on the page that says sponsors or flight team, and we'll put your name under it listed on here. So if you go here, the first one is track on APRS, or here's HabHub, and this is what Bill was talking about. We're going to track on HabHub, so I'm going to click HabHub, and it's going to bring our balloon up. And yeah, it brought our balloon up. So I got to click on that. Here we go. So there's our balloon. We're going to kind of scroll out a little bit, see where it is. So you can see it looks like this picture showing it about halfway over the Atlantic. Maybe it's out there. I'm not sure exactly. But Bill, you're talking about the high split. If you look over here on the left side under path will turn your path on and off. But if you click on high split, this is what Bill's trying to explain. There we go. There's high split. And Bill, you want to talk a little about high split and all the various models here?
Yeah, on one of those colored dots, it'll give you a time and date of estimated arrival at that location. So like just west of Portugal, if you click on one of those dots there, well, right above where you're at there, right in there, basically that shows you that by the 11th it could be there, but it's probably more likely going to be the green dots.
Yeah.
Or the
And it gives you the time.
It
It gives you the time, and the time is pretty accurate actually. It says we'll be there at 6. Let's go over Algeria here, and I'm gonna click on the green dot above Algeria, and it says we should be there on the 10th at midnight 0000.
Midnight their time, yeah.
Yeah, well, UTC.
Now click to the left a little bit to see where it's going to show up tomorrow morning.
Okay.
The path to the left, right about there.
We're right in here?
A little bit to the right of there. Yeah, click on one of those. Yeah, right there.
All right. That would be the 8th at 1700 UTC.
That would be about noon time, our time. That's where it's predicted to be tomorrow at noon our time.
Yeah, noon our time it should be there, if it's flying, and hopefully we'll get some reports tomorrow.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. It'll arrive in probably Spain sometime, probably not tomorrow. It'll get pretty close tomorrow, and then the next day after it's going to cross over Spain. But you can actually go to the NOAA website and run this program high split program, and it will also tell you if there's any rain. And so I usually run that. I sent you.
Yeah, I
if
saw
you go
that.
to your
Thank you.
IM, your Facebook Messenger, I sent you the file of the flight path prediction that I ran directly on the NOAA high split site.
Right.
It'd be in your message. It'd be on your messages
And
that I've sent.
yeah. And here's what happens. Look, when you fill a balloon with hydrogen in the shop, that looks a little like a crater, doesn't it? Actually.
That's on the ceiling?
That's on the ceiling, yeah. So you got to make sure that someone is assigned to the job and they're very reliable to hold the balloon when you fill it. Because we had to take a 12-foot board to get that thing down. I could have brought a ladder in, but it was easier just to poke at it with a long stick,
And you get a popcorn ceiling. That's not.
Yeah.
That's pretty hazardous to a balloon.
Well, it is there. But Bill, I want to tell you something. And everybody talks about these balloons and how easy they are, to break, and you wear gloves, don't touch it, don't fold it, don't crinkle it. But I've got one of those very same 36-inch clear balloons out in my shop that Edward sent me, and he was trying to pre-stretch it, and it blew a hole in the seam about 6 inches long. And I took my iron and I sealed that 6-inch long crack in that balloon. I pressurized it with air, sealed it up. That thing has been in my shop over a month. I have kicked it. I've hit it with a bat. I have thrown it against the welder, against shovels, boards with splinters. That thing is still up. That thing feels tough. I could use it for a punching bag.
We have a comment from JJ1NJM asking if your solar panels have sharp corners, that if there's turbulence, it might swing up and puncture the balloon. But you're so far down below the balloon that there'd be no way that it would fly up and puncture the balloon.
Yeah, unless
17-foot
wire. It's 18 feet. The panels are 18 feet below the balloon. But you know what? That's a good point. If you get in some kind of turbulence and that thing is all winding around, I mean, it could hit. I guess. I don't know.
Well, we actually had one go around the world in one of the SBS-13 balloons, and it was flying one of my sky trackers, and he'd been around the world once, and he was on his almost ready to complete a second lap, and he came into Los Angeles from the Pacific, and there was severe turbulence over the Sierra Nevada range. Mm-hmm. And when he hit that turbulence, the balloon went way up and popped and came down in the Mojave Desert. We know where it is. Yep. It's on a military base, but probably not going to be real easy to get access to. It's one of those military bases where they test out anti-terrorist techniques and stuff. So
yeah.
But we know within about a mile where it came down. But even that, those balloons flying at 42,000 feet or more can be subject to turbulence.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Bill, stand by just a minute. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
Be active with ICOM's new IC705 and its optional multifunction backpack. The IC705 is your perfect QRP companion that has base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers. It's a portable package covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds. It has RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz. It also has a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen with a live band scope and waterfall. Other features include 5 watts with the BP272, 10 watts with 13.8 volts DC. It also has sideband CW AM FM as well as full D-Star functionality. It has a micro USB connector and Bluetooth capability, integrated GPS with antenna and a GPS logger. It has a micro SD card slot. The speaker microphone comes standard, and it supports QRP operations. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is the optional backpack, the LC192.
with a special compartment for your IC705, and it has room for accessories for soda, activations, or just a day in the park. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
All right, hey guys, I'm back, and guess what? Hey, I want to just also mention nuts and bolts. I don't know if anybody takes this magazine. This magazine's been around about 50 years. I remember when it was like black and white, and it had different quality paper in here, and it was mostly parts and stuff, you know. It's called Nuts and Bolts, and they've really turned this into a great magazine with all types of electronic projects you can build in here that are basically, a lot of them are ham radio related that you can use, so it's really cool. So hey, pick up your copy of Nuts and Bolts, and guess what? You're going to start seeing Amateur Radio Roundtable. We're going to be advertised in this magazine every single month that it comes out. So start looking for our ad in there, but don't get it just for our ad. Get it because it's got a lot of neat stuff in there. All right, what were we talking about? Balloons. Yeah, tonight's a balloon night. I know some people. I've noticed some people in the chat room. They kind of get bored when we talk balloons. You know, oh no, it's the balloon night again. You know, but you know, they'll just have to wait because at some point, Bill, once I get a balloon around the Earth 7 or 8 times, we're gonna move on to something else that then will probably bore the balloon people. You know. Yeah.
Well, there's all kinds of aspects to ham radio, and the really neat thing about ham radio ballooning is you get to use all aspects of ham radio. Like I had to set up my ground station, which I'm using a FunCube dongle, SDR dongle for my receive station, and it works great. So then I had to learn what software to use for it. I use HD SDR. Also use SDR Sharp, so I had to learn how to interface all that. Then I have to figure out how to decode the APRS packets. And if it's a multi-mode balloon, I have to download things like DL, FL Digi. There's a lot of experimentation with payload design and just setting up ground stations to receive it. So it is a true experimenter's delight.
Yeah, hey, let me show you something. This is what a $180 balloon looks like just minutes after launch. I don't know if you can tell that or not, but that's about a 3-foot hole in the top of it there. I don't know if it hooked on.
It happened after it sat on the ground and the storm hit.
Yeah, I think you know, maybe it got torn or something when he picked it up, because I don't think it exploded or burst. You know, it didn't get high enough, right? You saw it get up to what, maybe 5,000 feet or 24, I don't remember. It didn't get
wasn't very high, the report I did see. So it came down in the storm and the rain pretty quickly. So
yeah. Well, there it is. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when it's worth $180. And that's what it looks like when it's worth nothing, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be hard to repair that one.
You know, hey, I tried to, I cut that off, and I was going to see if I could take my heat iron and seal it, and I haven't done it yet, but I did take the top half off, and I made me a little bag and heat sealed it and put air in it. But I found out that material, only one side of that material will stick. You know, if you try to put the two pieces opposite each other, it won't heat seal. But you got to get the two right sides together.
You probably want some parchment paper to put over it while you're.
Yeah, I did. use parchment paper on it. All right, well, it's going to be interesting to see tomorrow morning if we come back on. I'm hoping it will.
And I might mention that you can go directly to the whispernet.org. That's WSPRnet.org. O-R-G. And maybe Tom can bring up the website and show you the map of who all received it in the past 24 hours.
Yeah, I'll bring it up right now. Let's see. That didn't work.
So there's a map on this site. This is the direct
Let me go to
of the whisper signals. People are running WSJT-X or WSPR. Those are two free programs from Joe Taylor, and you can download those free and route your audio into it. And if you click the check box to upload your reception and enter your you have to enter your station location and call sign.
So here's the
whisper.
Yeah, again, if you just go to my balloon page, you can scroll down, and I've got a quick link here to APRS. I've got a quick link here to HabHub, and here's Whisper. You can go to Whisper. Let's look at some Whisper stuff. It's kind of interesting too. I'm gonna click on Whisper, and it brings it up. And if you look at this, these are people that actually picked up, reported hearing W5KUB. Our last report today was at 1730 by OZ7 IT. Where's OZ? It's over Europe. It's where is it?
Denmark.
Denmark. Okay, yeah, that was picked up in Denmark. But you can see every 10 minutes we should get a transmission. Every 10 minutes we should get a transmission.
Island,
so there's 30 we got a transmission, 20 we got one. We missed 40 minutes here. And then here's where we thought it went down. At 12:20 was our last transmission, and then we picked it up again at 16:30. So there was a 4-hour gap there where we lost it. So anyway, this is there's a database that tells you who all is listening. And if you click on the map up here, you can actually see the map of who's looking at or receiving the balloon. So I just clicked on map, and here we go. Let's see what happens here. All right, it's going to bring up the map, and let me make sure this is me. No, that's not me. I got to be on 20 meters. 20 meters, and let's just go for today's date.
Yeah, you had to set the time for 24 hours. Well, 12 hours.
Yeah, I put 12 hours.
And your call sign.
Yeah, I put my call in here. That'd be 5KUB. All right, and let's see what the map says. Who was actually receiving the balloon today? So there's the map, and if you look at this, let me see if I can.
You got pretty good coverage for 20 milliwatts.
Yeah, so there it is over the ocean, and that's the people that were actually hearing it and reporting. Let's see, get it back on the page here. Yeah, I'm not doing too good.
If you zoom out a little bit.
So there's the page right there, and you can see the people that were actually hearing it today. So we're doing pretty good. So the thing I do like about Whisper is a lot of places you're out of APRS coverage, for instance, over the ocean and over Africa. So that's why it's important for us to have Whisper on here. I like that.
And that's 20 milliwatts of pure power to a magnet wire antenna.
20 milliwatts.
That's amazing, the distance.
All right, let's see. Any other questions in the chat room? See if anybody's got any questions before we sign off here tonight.
It keeps dropping out on me. I'm trying to use a tablet, and it's not working too well.
Okay, dropping on you? Yeah. So back to your map, Bill. you know, the map on Whisper only shows this, it plots us right in the center of a 2 by 3 mile box. And that's where we searched for it that day. And it was actually found where I have the arrow. So, you know, I mean, it was in the box. Yeah, so we would have never got back there and found it. Believe me, 2 by 6 miles is a lot of territory to
Yes.
cover, you know. And some of it had trees, some was open land, and some there was no roads back into those areas. So, but that's where we.
And that's because we encode, Whisper encodes the latitude and longitude in a 4-digit grid square. And then I add 2 letters to it in my second transmission, which is a telemetry transmission on Whisper, and I add the second and the 5th and 6th grid square. So it's a 6 character grid square, but that's still a 2 by 3 mile box. That's why it's you have that wide search area.
Yeah.
It's better than 200 and 300 miles.
There's a question in the chat room that's been answered by Mark, but can balloons cross the equator? I think it's not real common. They probably stay kind of in that hemisphere.
Actually, if you can go to aprs.fi.
All right.
And enter K6 Sierra Tango Sierra -15.
Now
you met him at Orlando.
Yeah, who we look? Oh, K6. That's Mark, right?
Yeah.
K6 STS.
At Doug Neeson.
Dash
K6 STS -15.
15. Okay. All right. We'll look at him here. Let me bring it up.
7-day path.
Let me bring him up here.
APRSFR.
Let's see. Hang on. Let me find my button here. There we
He
go.
launched that from Florida across North Africa.
All right. This is
And
Florida.
if you zoom out, he went. You see.
Yep.
There, he is south of the equator.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
He's in the Congo. He came down 2 days ago. He was up for almost 2 weeks, and he went across to Morocco, Mauritania, Libya, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and then swung around, and probably the first amateur radio balloons to ever fly over Somalia, and he was risking getting ransomed there. Kenya and Tanzania and Uganda, and he finally came down in the Congo 2 days ago. And if you click on the right there, you can make the path 7 days for the path on APRSFI, and it'll show the last 7 days there. Well, it shows the path it took from Saudi Arabia.
Oh, so he turned and headed south and back west. He crossed the equator there.
Yeah, normally you would come across Saudi Arabia and then keep going across to China, but he caught some southerly winds, and you can see he clearly went into the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, and he may be trapped down there for a long time.
Yeah, I think he's stuck down there. But that's a Whisper balloon that was ported to APRS using a Python script I wrote.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you just a quick question about that. I'm running that Python script here.
And this is one of those light APRS boards.
Yeah.
I wrote a script to. I modified my script to decode theirs too.
So let me ask you a question. We have a couple of the light APRS Whisper boards that my friend bought when we're trying out all kinds of boards. But anyway, at some point we'll fly those. Will your Python program that I'm running, if we're not running, here's my question: if we're not running the time slot, can I still use that Python to send W5KUB over to the APRS map?
Well, that flight you just saw in Africa, that was a light APRS using I modified my Python script to decode. He doesn't send telemetry; he just sends the call sign.
Yeah.
So all I'm doing is transferring a 4-digit grid square position
Okay.
whenever it transitions.
That's what I was asking, because at some point we may want to try to plot the whisper on the APRS map without the data, without the time slot. You know,
Well,
just
if you look at that flight I just showed,
Uh-huh.
you just showed, and look at the raw. I don't know if the raw data is still up there, but if you click on the balloon envelope icon, it'll show
Yeah.
the telemetry.
But you're saying you have to
That's exactly
modify.
what it is.
You have
It's
to
just gonna
modify.
show the latitude, longitude.
You're
There's
saying
no
you-
altitude.
You would have to modify your Python code to do that.
I did that.
Okay,
for,
because I
those-
have a friend up in Canada, Graham up there. A few of our flights, he's used a Python script just to send W5KUB over to APRS. Four grid square, 4-digit only. I mean, no data, but
and
just by
no
call.
altitude or anything
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
with it.
So, but I can't do that with the Python I have here, right? Without making some modifications.
I'll send you a modded program for
Okay.
the light APRS.
And that might be good to have, just to get a rough idea where it is when APRS is not working.
Now I put an altitude. I put his last known altitude on APRS, that because this one also did APRS, but it was last heard over the Virgin Islands, and then it flew for another 10 days over Africa where there were no APRS stations. So I just put in the actual last known altitude and voltage, but that's all nonsense, because it really doesn't. I don't really know what it did.
Yeah,
All I know is rough position,
yeah.
but it gives you a rough position.
Well, all right. Well, look, it's probably getting a little late. I know people are getting tired, and the non-ballooners are probably already gone to sleep. But I'm excited. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna get a good night's sleep. I'm gonna wake up in the morning, and I'm hoping our balloon starts reporting tomorrow. I think it will.
And it's W5KUB-15 on the APRS.FI and tracker.habhub. And it's on that website.
And if you can't remember that,
'Cause this
and
one
I've got a lot of
with
friends. I've got a lot of friends that can't remember that kind of stuff. If you can't remember that, just go to W5KUB, and at the top up there where it says balloon, click on balloon, and it'll give you those options right here to track the balloon right there. You don't have to remember APRS, YZ, Q, whatever. You just click on those buttons and it'll take you there. All right, guys. Hey, I'm gonna say good night to everybody. Let's see. Okay, look at there. David says I'm a non-ballooner, but I'm very interested in ballooning. So we need to get him on our balloon team and maybe launch him with a bigger balloon there.
All right, good
All
deal.
right.
Well, I'll be checking it out tomorrow morning, and
All right.
I've got the Python script running here to grab your data and put it up on APRS. So we'll keep watching it in the morning and see how it does.
All right. Well, we got one person out there, and I know he gets sleepy early every week. That's Andy there. He says it's 9:23. He's about to fall asleep. Andy, hit the stop button on your computer. It says down there, where it says start, and close your computer out and go to bed, Andy. All right. Bill, thanks, man, for being with us tonight. Appreciate it. Enjoyed to talk with you.
All righty.
Might try to hook up with you tomorrow. Are you available for a Skype connection or something tomorrow during the day or anything, or are you out near it or?
I in between meetings.
Okay, well, not that I have anything
I have
special.
my
Not that I have anything
laptop
special,
tracking.
but if something came up, I might just like to talk. See what's going on. Okay.
Yeah,
Good night.
I have my laptop tracking on one side and my NASA laptop on the other, so
All right.
I can keep an eye on your balloon tomorrow.
All right. Well, I'll say good night to you, man. All right.
All right.
All right, guys. Everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. Hope it wasn't too boring for you non-ballooners out there. Someday in the future, everybody's going to have a balloon. Everybody's going to have a balloon, and we're not going to have cars. That's how you're going to get around, with your balloon. You really are. So you better pay attention tonight. Good night, everybody. Hey, if you're listening on WBCQ, we're glad to have you on 5130 kilohertz. out of Monticello, Maine. We're glad you tuned in. Join us every Tuesday. We start playing 60s music about 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So join us. 73 everybody. Join our Facebook group. It's called W5KUB. We've got over 9,000 hams in that group. Join that Facebook group. Come back here next week. Again, if you want to be a sponsor or part of the team to launch the next big balloon that we hope can stay up for months, which the last two, one only stayed up 1 day and the other one stayed up 2 days. But the big balloon, it can stay up for, there's one up there 250 days right now. Make a donation, click the donate button at the top of the menu. $5, $10, whatever you can do, $1,000, I don't care. We'll put it all toward balloons. And but in the meantime, we will keep the balloons going. Every week or month, we're going to keep them going. We have to use smaller Chinese balloons at a cheaper rate, but help us out on the big balloon. 73, everybody. We'll see you later. Good night.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.